Hello everyone, it's Andy Glenn here from Sharks TV, welcoming you all to another podcast. And today I'm joined by Mr. John Dunbar. John, nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well, Andy. Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure, but I have to say, I'm a wee bit apprehensive about this podcast, specifically with you.
Why is that?
I'm glad you asked.
I almost did.
Because this is the game. This is the first podcast after your 4-goal haul in Bristol and an assist. And from previous chats with you, you're so modest that you're not going to talk to me much about how you felt and all the rest. You're going to say it's a team game and all the rest of it. But let's just go back to that game now. You really made the difference in that game, didn't you?
Yeah, it was. It was a tough game. Obviously, night before in Swindon, not the result we were looking for. I think it's no secret we've been playing shorthanded for quite some time now, and I think a bit of that fatigue might have set in that Swindon game. So, going into the Sunday game against Bristol, we knew we needed to have an answer. I don't really know what to say. Just one of those games where it just seems like everything's going in for you, everything's clicking. I will say that hockey's kind of a funny sport sometimes. I'm sure there's been other games throughout the season where I've probably had more grade A scoring opportunities, and you just don't seem to find the back of the net. But like I said, it was one of those games where just everything was clicking, and I think the whole team did a really good job of just seeing it through. A lot of resiliency. Marzi was incredible, as he always is. I feel like I say that every time, but he always gives us an opportunity to win the game. So, it was a fun game for sure.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the Swindon game the night before, because when you say everything was clicking on that Bristol game, nothing seemed to click in that Swindon game at all. It felt like we could play all night and not score a goal.
Yeah, no, I think you said it right there. And I think a few of us, when we got back to the hotel in Bristol, we were kind of, have a beer after the game and just kind of reflect and, hit the reset button. But that was one of the phrases that was said, is I feel like no matter how long the game went on, I could have played 3 more periods, and it just seemed like we weren't really able to generate something. And I mean, you don't want to use the fatigue and being shorthanded as an excuse. There's other teams in the league that are also in similar situations. I get fair play to Swindon as well. They're a strong hockey team. It's a tough building to come play in. Rennie's a fantastic goalie. So, sometimes it seems like you have to work really hard to generate a scoring chance, and then when you do, he's a fantastic goaltender as well.
Yeah, it was a frustrating game to watch, albeit on the stream from my perspective. And then we came to Bristol the next night, and we hadn't scored in the first period as well. And it felt like, 80 minutes of hockey, and we haven't scored a goal. What was the thoughts on the dressing room at the end of that first? Was it a case of, oh no, here we go again, or was the Swindon game already written off?
Yeah, I think we're all professionals. I think guys are pretty good at parking it and moving on and looking at the next task. I don't think, honestly, and maybe from the fans' perspective, like you said, 80 minutes and we still haven't scored. I don't think there was any real stress or pressure in our locker room. I actually think in the first period we generated some really good looks and we're getting chances, and that's when you're in trouble when you're not getting those opportunities. It's not always going to go in. It's not always going to be pretty. But I guess in Swindon, that was the thing that was a bit discouraging, is it seemed like there wasn't a lot of clean, good looks at the net. But yeah, like I say, I think in that first period in Bristol, we were getting those opportunities. We were working hard to find that open ice and get some really, really good looks. So when you have that, it's encouraging. You just got to keep pressing on, and something's bound to go in.
Power play. Come on, tell me about it.
Everyone's favorite topic.
Well, it's one of these things that we see it now, and it just, not only you get a power play, you're like, oh great, we've got a grade A chance here. We can really, really take advantage. We had a 5-minute power play in Bristol. We lost a short-handed goal. It was a special goal, to be fair to your man. But your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's always a topic of conversation.
It's a topic of conversation because we're sitting last in the league stats. That's the reason.
I know, and I appreciate that, Andy. But it's I've talked to Martin about it. We've joked about it before. It's I'd much rather be strong 5-on-5, and win games 5-on-5 than be depending on a power play. Yes, of course, absolutely, we need to improve it. I'm not denying that. Could you make the argument that there's an excuse? You have Mason out. I think we were actually doing pretty well on the PP when we kind of had our personnel kind of figured out. Even as just one player, it changes both units. You're juggling players around. And so it's a little bit more difficult to find that chemistry. But it's the special teams as a whole, I think it's kind of a funny one where
our PK is looking great.
Our PK is doing fantastic. Yeah. No, they've our PK looks really, really good. But power play. I think there's two sides to it. Obviously, you need to work on it. You need to iron out the kinks and find ways to score goals because it can be a difference maker, especially down the line when you're looking near the end of the season, heading into the postseason. But sometimes I feel like it's one of those things that you can almost give too much attention to. Like you mentioned earlier there when you started the question, it's like, we got a power play, and there's almost like this, not a feeling of, here we go, let's score a goal. It's like a feeling of dread almost, like we should just give the power play back.
I think it's more hope. There's sometimes you see teams and you go, right, we're expecting an onslaught from their power play.
Yeah.
And you kind of half expect them to score a goal. Us, we're kind of looking, well, there's a chance, but...
Yeah, and I mean, I trust me, I'm frustrated as well. I'm on the unit, so it's not like, I'm a part of that problem, I suppose, with the power play, and it's something I've taken a lot of pride in. In my elite league career, I was always, that was one of my upsides as a player, is effective on the power play. I've played on teams where power plays are great and it doesn't even seem like you work on it a ton in practice. It just kind of flows naturally. And then I've been on teams where it struggles and it's just always under the microscope. You're always trying to find adjustments, fine tune it. And it's almost feels like you could be in quicksand a little bit where you're putting so much energy and attention to it and it's getting you nowhere. So,
obviously, case of just relax then and just
I think you just don't have to try not to overthink it. It's a simple game at the end of the day, and power plays is opportunity where you have a man advantage. There's a little bit more space out there. You can use your creativity and just have fun with it and make plays and not be uptight, not be worried about, oh my God, I hope we better score. Just go out there and play and enjoy it. But yeah, it's definitely disheartening that we weren't able to convert on the 5-minute against Bristol there. Would be a different conversation if we didn't win the game. Obviously, it'd be a lot worse.
Well, the reason I mentioned that is because we killed the 5-minute power play in Romford, and personally, I think that gave us huge momentum and potentially changed the outcome of that game for us.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So you don't want Bristol to have that.
You're right, and
momentum.
I think our team did a good job, especially just reiterating that message. Don't let them get momentum off of this. Yeah. Obviously it sucks that we didn't score, but if I remember correctly, it wasn't like a bad 5-minute power play. I think we were generating a lot of good looks and we had them hemmed in. They got a really, really good goalie over there as well, a big goaltender who almost at times acts as like another player on the PK. So it's difficult. You just got to find a way to get a greasy one in those situations. But like I said, I think us as a team and Spud as well, just reiterating that message, like when the 5-minute power play expired, it wasn't a case of, oh my God, here we go again. It was a case of, hey, you know what, like just keep going here. Don't let them get anything from that. Don't let them gain any momentum. And I think we did a good job at that.
Right. I've got the message. Wrap it, Andy. Don't be asking about power plays again. Just let us have fun. The reason I asked John, though, you'd get, if you came along to a watch party, obviously you're playing, so you can't come along to a watch party. But if you were in the watch party, there's 100 folk there who are experts on power play, right? They really are. And we know the answer to absolutely everything. Yeah. And we are frustrated as much as you are. But I won't ask about power play again, right?
No, it's good. It's good.
No doing it. Okay. I'll tell you what, though, we have got a big weekend coming up. I think we know the old adage, any team can beat any team in the league. The Bees have already beaten us this season. They are a little bit adrift at the bottom of the table. We've got 2 games at home. They are, I mean, we talk about short-handed. They took 10 players away not that long ago, and they're looking really short-handed as we speak just now. I think more suspensions came out today for some of their man Norris. It was so. It's a big weekend for us, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge. It's a massive opportunity. Like you say, them being a bit short-handed. We as a group can definitely relate to how that feels, and. The game that we played them early in the season that we lost, it was our first, I think that might have been one of our first long road trips of the year.
It was the way.
And it's tough too. There's nothing you can really do to fully prepare for that kind of travel and then going into a place like Slough. So that's probably a game where you look back and you wish you would have found a way to get a better result there. So just a massive opportunity this weekend for us is, Saturday. Them coming in, we have to make sure we're ready to go right off the puck drop. Be ready.
Absolutely. It is just one of those ones where there's an expectation probably of 4 points, perhaps from the fans, maybe not from the players. You guys are professional. You know. You got to respect the opposition, but we're looking probably now as fans of right. Where does 4 points put us?
Yeah. Yeah, of course, and I definitely understand that, and we're human. We obviously see that as well. We know the importance of it, but I think it's all you can really do is just focus on the one game at a time. One shift, one period, all those cliches. But it is true because you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. You can't be looking at where we might be and this and that. The league, there's no throwaway games. Like there's no games you're going in and it's guaranteed. Especially in sport in general, there's no guarantees. So we just have to focus on ourselves. Martin does a really good job week in, week out, emphasizing that. Just you can't really worry about who's on that other side. Obviously, you need to do some pre-scout and look at some of their tendencies and whatnot. But as far as when the game starts, just worry about ourselves, what we can control, just making sure we're able to be the best versions of ourselves that night.
I'm glad to hear you say that because, us fans, we can do what we like, but you guys as professionals, if you don't prepare properly for those games, we're going to get found out.
Of course.
Simple as.
Yeah, no, of course. And I don't think we've never been that team. I feel like we're a team that treats every weekend the same, no matter what opponent it is, whoever we're playing, we feel like we're capable of winning. We don't go into games thinking, this one's, we don't know, or it's a guarantee. We go into the game that our main focus is to get 2 points in this particular game.
Well, it's also an opportunity this weekend for the fans to give something back to the community because it's Hurl a Hug. And for the people in England and the rest of the world that watch the podcast, Hurl a Hug. Hurl is throw, hug, obviously a hug. So it's teddy bear toss, basically. And it's been pretty successful over the last few years because we've given soft toys to kids in hospital at Christmas time, but it also went region-wide because we've gave some of the toys. There's been so many that went into the community. So tell us what preparations and what it's all about this weekend. Yeah,
obviously, you see it a lot of, whatever you want to call it, Hurl a Hug, and this in North America, you might call it like the teddy bear toss, whatever the title is. It has the same impact around hockey. The first goal, the game, Sharks fans are encouraged to bring a brand new stuffed teddy bear with the tag on it, I believe, and have it wrapped in a clear plastic bag. And then, when the Sharks score their first goal, hopefully early on in the game, you hurl them onto the ice, and then we'll collect them. And like Andy, you said there, donate those toys to children in need, especially during the holidays. It can be a difficult time for a lot of people, so it's definitely a really important thing to do.
100%. You enjoy these games. I mean, politically, you're going to say yes because of the stuff around. But after you score a goal, there's a big break.
Yeah, I know it's a weird one, but I think you have to enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's cool to see all those teddy bears go over, and I think it's also players kind of have it in their head like wanting to be the guy that scores that goal.
Have you ever scored the goal?
I can't really remember. I'm trying to think of teddy bear games that I've been in. I feel like I would remember if I have, so maybe not. So maybe we could change that this weekend, hey?
Well. Yeah. You're certainly the shark on fire just now.
I don't want to jinx it, but no, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, you are right. It does kind of create a unique situation where there's a big break right after, whereas sometimes you want to, continue on with that momentum.
For sure.
I've also seen there's been a couple times recently, I'm pretty sure, like in the Elite League, there was the one game where the goal actually gets called back.
Oh,
there's the unique, yeah. So you just got to hope for.
Give me my teddy bear back.
Yeah, exactly. Redo it. No.
What game have you played in that had the biggest number of teddy bears thrown on the ice? Probably going to be an Elite game or one in North America.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I think maybe.
Have you done any prep for this thing? You don't know if you scored a goal. You don't know.
Well, I'm assuming the fact that I don't know if I scored a goal means I didn't score a goal. But I feel like in the East Coast Hockey League, there's been a couple really big ones. You get some decent sized crowds. Yeah. So there'd be a couple there. I don't know what building. I played in Norfolk, so I feel like we would have done one, and it would have been quite a big number of teddy bears on the ice afterwards. So,
well, Sharks fans, I think
I would do that.
300 last year. Come on.
Yeah, we got it.
And
I believe in us.
You can still buy
yes,
soft
that's right.
toys at
Yeah.
the
So if you do forget,
if
you do forget, your the teddy bears will be available for purchase on our merch stand on the night of the match. So you're covered. Either way, you're covered. There's no excuses.
No excuse.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this weekend. We've got a guest commentator from the Bees, Joe Scotts. He's coming up. He's gonna stand alongside me and give a bit of a flavour from the Bees. So hairdo, another injury. You're getting the weekend off, Kieran. Yeah. You can sit down and actually enjoy the game as opposed to talking with us. But when you think about it, I'm just thinking. Kieran with his knee, Mason with his knee, Torrin with his knee.
It's contagious, apparently.
Knees. Well, it happens in threes. Hopefully that's it. Yeah. But yeah, we have had a few injuries, haven't we?
No, it's been tough. I think it's like I said. There's no point feeling sorry for yourself or using it as an excuse because we're not special. Other teams are dealing with the same things. I do think that this is a time of the year where it does happen. It's an unfortunate part of sport. It does happen. It's just, you're getting close to that halfway point of the season. It's a lot of games. Some guys log a lot of minutes, travel in between. It does happen. But I think what it does is it provides a good opportunity for other players to step up. Maybe they're in a position where they think they could be higher up in the lineup or they think they, could be contributing a bit more. And, when things like this happen, as it's unfortunate as it is, some players are looking at it like, okay, this is my chance. I'm going to really show them that I belong in whatever spot they see themselves. And it just works on your character as a team as well.
Absolutely. How's the team doing?
Good. I think, like I said, I think the game against Bristol was awesome. I think it was huge for team morale, and especially a road trip like that too, where you stay over a night over. It's always good for camaraderie. Just the guys all together on the bus. It's a lot of fun. Like we spoke about earlier in the podcast, the Swindon one kind of left a sour taste in our mouths. We were a little bit discouraged after that, so it was nice just to kind of all come together and get ready for the big game against Bristol. We also had some before the game. We had some time to kill, so we had a showdown between Cal Beatty and Scooter at the local arcade close to the rink there. So I won't go into all the details of that, but I'm sure you could imagine it was quite a spectacle.
I did notice some of the Sharks fans down south had brought along Scooter masks.
Yeah, he was the star of the show. I was actually in the warm-ups before the game. I went over to grab a towel just to wipe my visor or whatever, and they're usually on the bench, so in order to get them you'd have to get off the ice or to grab them. So usually I just tell Scooter to pass me one, and he was nowhere to be found, and he was down in the corner signing autographs. So we'll have to have a conversation about that at some point.
That's just severe
crazy,
words have
crazy.
to be spoken.
I know. But no, it was really funny to see that. Actually, it was really funny to see that. That was awesome.
Well, I mean, that's the Marles family. Fair play to them. They're from down south, so they go to some of these games. But Sharks fans have travelled in their numbers this season, haven't they?
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, it doesn't surprise me anymore because I've seen it so often. But it's incredible just to see the support. Like you say, there's some long, grueling bus trips. When you get there, it definitely is a pick me up when you see, some familiar faces and you see that support. It goes a long way. So we do really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, as Sharks fans, as I'm saying, it's like a long, grueling bus trip. It's a long, grueling drive.
Well, that's what I mean when I'm thinking about on the bus and you guys are going down. So fair play to you. We definitely really, really appreciate the support. And it helps. It goes a long way.
Absolutely. And there's always a bit of noise as well. So good luck for the weekend. Hopefully you score a goal for the huddle a hug, and hopefully we get loads of toys on the ice. But more importantly, we're looking for some good results against teams that are our rivals, really.
Of course.
But before we go, we just want to say thanks to everybody for watching, and the final word goes to you, John, to our fans.
Yeah, no, just thank you for all the support. It's been it's been pretty good lately. I feel like we've been stringing together some good hockey. Make sure you get out for a good cause on Saturday. We'll bring your teddy bears, and we'll see what we can do. I think it's going to be a really, really exciting weekend for Sharks fans. So appreciate it.
Well, thanks Sharks fans for watching, and thanks John for taking the time. This is Andy Glenn saying cheerio.